So anyway, MbL being pretty forward on the map. I'll make sure to keep an eye open on any ball steals this time, guys.
Yeah, that's your job.
Okay, I'm promoted to
I'm blaming you for
anything
missing
like it.
all ball steals.
If you can get into the maps, I'll keep an eye on that one.
Okay, RiuT this time. I'd say he's just, apart from the ball steal, he had an amazing map last time, but he's not doing too badly this time either. Great wood lines, really defensible main golden stone with berries right in the back as well. Fantastic choke points to wall off in the south side of the map so he can concentrate on the north. Main stone really easy to take, and the second one in the bottom as well, so that's good for if he is looking for Janissaries at this point, at some point in the game. Both boars kind of exposed, and quite likely for MbL to find the forward one, I should think, if MbL goes to the right part of the map with his scout. So potential for that laming to happen again. I'd say the deer are quite pushable as well, which could be nice if RiuT chooses scouts as his play, because you often see that with Turks.
Well, we see MbL going forward again, so he might be opting for another lane. And he's really heading in the right direction. He might just miss it, but he's going to find the extra goals. He will know RiuT will be in the neighborhood. So maybe he'll succeed, especially as you mentioned. Both of his balls are quite exposed.
Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on the fog of war of his scout and see which way he goes. At the moment he's heading directly towards it in that northwest direction. See if he finds it.
And RiuT is just going to take this ball right now. I don't think MbL will be able to lame it or deny it. He's just going to walk back, missing the other ball for now at least.
Is he actually missing it? Yeah. Okay, you must be 1 second ahead of me, but don't change your speed controls. It's fine, because then it starts messing it up for both of us. Okay, let's have a look at MbL's map. Looking really defensible and wallable actually, which given his history of walling is quite a high possibility. So many natural choke points around his base. Does have very forward main stone, although a second stone right in the back is fairly, well, a lot less exposed. Main gold kind of in the middle of nowhere, but I guess he'll kind of wall in front of this anyway, so pretty decent map for him apart from 2 forward golds, which means he can't afford to see too much map control. This time, the ball steal, we're on it.
Yeah, okay, I just want to say I'm going to interrupt you because I see MbL spotting the ball for quite a while now, and it seems like he will be laming it right now. But RiuT Scout is just about to find him there, as he probably saw this, the ball going away, so he might be able to deny this ball lame. I wonder who of the players will micro this correctly, as it's still quite a while for MbL's TC, but not impossible, obviously.
Yeah, the thing is, he can hit the scout almost all you like, but the ball is almost certainly going to keep chasing after it, and he's not really prioritising too much, actually blocking it as so much as he is hitting MbL scout, and MbL with probably just enough HP, as long as he continues to dance backwards and micro correctly, that ball's going to keep on coming. But yeah, the aggression is still there on the ball. It might just go off now, but the villager could end up just taking it too.
Yeah, I think MbL got it right now, as indeed the villager can take it over. One small thing I wanted to mention as well is we saw MbL going full on wood early, we saw RiuT going 3 in wood early, so we might see MbL opting for the rush, and then that third ball might help an awful lot.
Thank you very much to Dizzyut for just resubscribing for his 3rd month in a row. We appreciate the support, of course. I'm sure you know the score that every time we receive a donation or a subscription, it gets ploughed back into creating tournaments and the like. So thank you very much for supporting the game and the community. But yeah, you're right. Heading back into what you've just discussed there, a drush from MbL would be quite nice in terms of drushing a guy who's just lost his ball. RiuT obviously retreating to his base to try and push in those deer, which I mentioned earlier, are quite pushable, and I think he needs to do that so that he doesn't fall too far behind. Like in the previous games, he survived, or certainly in the last game, I think he survived losing his ball by pushing in deer. So if he hadn't done that in this game, that might have meant that the ball steal became more and more crucial. MbL going...
Anyway, we see MbL going for the rush. What do you expect to come out from RiuT over here? It seems like he will be adding a second lumber camp. I'm thinking about just the usual flush, or do you think, well, the scout rush obviously is quite a good option for the Turks as well.
Yeah, I think he's going to be doing scouts here. Obviously, it's more difficult to do that with your boar having been stolen, but the build is looking like scouts to me.
Yeah, indeed, and having the additional, getting the additional D in, his scout is still pretty alive as he wasn't the one laming, so I guess we can expect scouts to come out from RiuT. And he's actually getting his barracks quite forward, where the Drush of MbL might arrive anytime soon. I wonder if MbL is able to interrupt this.
I think it will be built by the time those militia even reach the barracks.
It seems like it. Wolf did a good job, keep him busy. Second villager just to be sure.
TyRanT the wolf. Cheating. Yeah.
Even the wolves are getting rigged right now. But yeah, indeed, that's the stable coming up as we indeed did not see RiuT getting any gold. And actually doing a good job fighting off the Drush. I mean, obviously the Drush is going to force some idle time here, but look at two militias almost being beaten down without actually really dealing any damage to the villages of RiuT.
Bugged out and froze and did almost no damage to those villages whilst being taken down and focused down really well by those villagers. So RiuT microed that much better. Potentially MbL being hindered by the occasionally slightly dodgy unit targeting you get in this game, but yeah, that Drush not being effective. Thing is though, that's how effective a scout's going to be for MbL because for RiuT because MbL is walling absolutely everything. He's even doing a kind of interior wall that he doesn't even need to do at this point in the northern part of his base.
Well, it's still open in the right, so the scouts can still run in. So I guess that is covering his woodline and his berries a bit more. The most awkward thing for MbL might be his gold, but he got the vills inside the palisade. And as there's no archers or anything coming, those will be saved, so he will probably make it up to Castle Age. But if he wants to transition into a gold unit once in Castle Age, then he might have trouble adding more in gold.
Yeah, I don't think he's aiming for Drush fast castle at this point because his build doesn't allow him to do that with only those two villages there on gold for now. It's almost looking like Drush scouts, which would be interesting. But let's just see what he does.
Yeah, fair enough. It's going to be quite interesting. We indeed see this table coming up. I wouldn't be surprised to actually see the scouts coming out as well, but then I might be favouring RiuT as MbL has been investing quite heavily in those militias. And obviously that means RiuT is going to be ahead in scouts for quite a while. So if it's just going to be scouts versus scouts right now, maybe MbL has a reasonably nice map right now to defend versus the scouts. He still won't have more scouts out than RiuT at any point in time if RiuT is going to play it correctly, I feel.
The spear moving in for MbL now, and RiuT's not looking on his reacts just in time so quick. It just makes you think he's not ready, not looking, and then bang in the last possible seconds he runs away. He does get a hit, but yeah, RiuT going for stone walls as well at home. Walling in a really nice section of his map which is going to contain all of his resources apart from his third gold, although that itself is accessible just outside that gate. And he's actually locked it as well. I just heard it locking, which is interesting. I don't know whether did he see the stable of MbL? That's what I'm interested in. No, he didn't.
Yeah, there's indeed some scouts being queued, some already produced, so that means maybe MbL is going to try and get again quite a bit of food aggression in, but as we see RiuT stonewalling, he's already fully walled unless there's some small gap we're missing, but I don't think so. He's going to have a hard time actually dealing damage, and I don't think RiuT is still investing in any units right now, so he'll be just making his way up to Castaways as soon as he can.
Let's improve. It's 7 months in a row. Thank you very much, sir. I assume you heard my spiel a couple of moments ago. Thank you very much for supporting us. But yeah, it seems like both players doing scouts and not really being able to do anything much that's actually effective with them other than killing each other's scouts at this point. Interesting choice by MbL with Drush scouts.
Yeah, indeed, but it doesn't seem to pay off in this scenario. Obviously he has an easy time defending now, it seems at least. But I don't think he will be able to get any follow-up aggression until he's going to hit the Castle Age.
RiuT is actually looking good to click up in just a moment's time, less than 100 food together, but MbL is right there, actually just less than 200 for him. Both players got wheelbarrow as well, so even though we saw Drush into scouts versus a pure scout rush, you're going to see more or less identical Castle Age times, clicking up with more or less the same amount of resources and the same villages, which is a really interesting development. I often find it funny how games work out like that. You see different players choosing vastly different builds, and then they end up with the same sort of uptimes later on in the game because of the way things work themselves out. If each player isn't able to do any kind of damage with what they actually choose to go for first.
Quite interesting. We see MbL now going forward for the stone, even though RiuT is up as well. Spend the stone on the stone walls isn't mining stone so far, but rather adding a second stable. And being quite heavy on gold, reasonable heavy on the farm, so I think RiuT will be going for knights from here on.
Yeah, I mean, for MbL, probably knows that RiuT himself is up and knows he's got this time to go and get that stone in to get that castle as soon as possible in the Castle Age. So feels quite safe for him to probably go out and take that forward stone. I'm just checking this. Yeah, he does see his stone in the back as well, which he kind of opted for, but in a sense it's probably more difficult to defend even though it's in the back just because it's further away and he can produce a spearman out of that barracks if he needs to. But yeah, 2 stables, knights potentially for RiuT. Gonna be decent against Janissaries in the early Castle Age probably, and especially as he'll be able to start producing straight away, whereas there'll be that little lag time for the Janissaries of MbL. But actually, is he gonna do? Yeah, he's got 728 stone now. He's instantly doing a castle drop by the looks of it. Where is he going to put it? That's the question.
Where will it be? He might be trying to secure those 2 forward goals, but I doubt he's actually even able to drop a castle over there.
Yeah, and the annoying thing for him is those TyRanT the wolves, they're slowing down the castle. I mean, that castle could have 30% on it by now if those villages hadn't been interrupted as much, and they're going to hit another wolf. I think MbL is losing a lot of time here, and it could be really critical. There's only 3 spearmen in the vicinity. Okay, 1 camel actually as well, but those knights will be able to take out those spearmen, and probably all the camel as well if they just turn around and focus it. Meanwhile, MbL finally dropped that castle on the wood line, which isn't massively threatening, and RiuT continuing to flood knights from 2 stables. I don't know if the camels will be sufficient to kill those knights, but I'm not sure. Can RiuT actually see this castle? Let's have a look.
No, he cannot see the castle.
He doesn't see it for now, so it's going to be a bit of a surprise to him, but he's only really going to go, oh well, I need to run 3 villages away from a wood line. He's already using the wood line in the back and TCing it, so I don't know if that's going to be the most crucial location for MbL to be getting that castle. And RiuT
it might be a nice foothold to get aggression as it's on quite a hill. On the other hand, RiuT has such a hill on the left as well, so in the later stage of the game, I'm not sure if the castle is going to be that effective right now and whether it's going to be a good point of attack in the later stage of the game, as I feel like RiuT might have an easy time taking that with siege. It seems like for now MbL is trying to get some pressure on the left side where the castle will help a little bit. But yeah, it's not, as you mentioned, it's just going to be RiuT saying to himself, well, you got to replace 3 villas on wood right now.
Yeah, stonewalling behind it. I mean, he's going to be safe from that castle for a while yet. And meanwhile, he has more control over the rest of the map with his knights, getting a monk out as well to help with converting the camels. Does pick up 1 conversion. And, obviously, MbL having gone for that castle. Oh, he's actually on for the second town centre. Never mind. I was going to say I thought he would be slower with that second town centre. But military numbers looking pretty tough spot for MbL now. RiuT has so many more knights and camels, and he's probably going to get into the base of MbL before MbL gets into RiuT's base at this point. And MbL at home doesn't look too concerned for now, as you might imagine. In fact, he's jumped heavily onto stone and will probably just put his own castle on that hill by his gold, and then will be able to defend for a long time.
Yeah, indeed. I think the hills are of equal height, so any late game siege walls in between the castles do not really favour any of the players, so the castle isn't at such a very important point where he will be seizing the hill advantage or anything like it. And now the camel's trying to push through the gate, but that's going to take a while.
That army of RiuT is finally moving around the open area on the south side of the map. It is going to be kind of difficult for him to kill much because of the compact nature of MbL's base and him throwing up a third TC, but he could cause a lot of idle time there at least. And I'd say his army is probably going to be put to better use now than what MbL's is doing at the moment, even if he might get in about a minute and a half time.
Well, RiuT has +2 on ice as well, so they are able to get quite a bit of TC fire in before really taking too much damage.
Yeah, no fletching means that the knights just shrug off those arrows actually, although he might not want to fight in the two centres and all those camels retreating into the open ground.
And now MbL is completely forced off the gate, but with the Janissaries and the castle fire, I mean, he's getting through it reasonably. But RiuT now has the stone as well to drop his own castle, so it might be a nice time to drop it before the gate is going down, but it seems like the gate actually will be down any second now. And that means MbL will be able to go on the offensive from here, and actually will be able to do quite a bit of damage, as there's not a lot to defend on RiuT's side. And if he can push RiuT off this gold, we know where the other two golds is. It's really awkward for him to actually secure any of the other golds.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised to see RiuT not prioritising just using that stone money he was doing. Maybe throwing a couple more villas on if he needed to, getting that castle in that position ready for when MbL broke through the wall, but he just wasn't quite in time. Only just got the stone at the moment the gate went down. He's actually sending a bunch of villas towards the front of his base. They're going idle for now, but maybe they're going to push out and drop a castle on MbL's base. Imagine if a castle came up just in front of MbL's monastery. It would take out everything. But no, RiuT's not going to be that ambitious. He's just going to put it on that hill, securing second and third golds. Yes,
and I think that's really important. I mean, I guess that's the second best option, but as you mentioned earlier, I would love to see it going down on the main gold instead.
Looking like a decent fight for RiuT here, just catching out quite a few Janissaries and camels there. Not really losing too many of his own units. Did lose that mango though. But yeah, he's actually kept RiuT off gold for quite a long time until RiuT's only just started restarting gold, so he's been off gold for 2 minutes. But he's ready to kick up to the Imperial Age, to be honest. He's got the resources in the bank, he can go up now that he's got the castle, and he's on his way. RiuT with Imperial Age click up, whilst MbL is still
at 100 food, and yeah, he's at 21 farmers right now, but adding more soon.
Yeah, I know you see the difference in going for that early castle, late castle drop. It really does set you back in terms of economy, even when your opponent's doing a lot of knights. Those forward farms from MbL are pretty funny. Set up a farming colony outside of RiuT's base.
Well, you need to keep him busy somehow. But yeah, the Imperial Age being quite a bit earlier for RiuT, I feel, might help him an awful lot, as he will probably have quite an easy time getting the castle down, as I think he will be able to grab the hill at his own castle and maybe get some trap or bombard cannon fire from down.
Well, he can put one trebuchet inside the gate as well, where it could still potentially be vulnerable to Janissary fire, depending on if he chooses to try and put it on the hill or more towards where the market is. But yes, sealing MbL out of his base with a second castle, and he's going to be able to tread MbL's castle down, and at that point, like, in terms of map control and everything, MbL will lose all of his control whilst being probably still confined to the castle age against an Imperial Age player, and it'll be a very dicey time for him then.
Yeah, I mean, MbL's only advantage right now is he has a bit more Janissaries out, and he has the map control. But as soon as he's going to lose the map control and the Janissary production, I think he might struggle quite a bit. He's getting still not very close to the Imperial Age, so I think RiuT will just do lots of damage in the meanwhile.
see what RiuT's going to do with this Imperial Age. No upgrades coming in for now, but one trebuchet in each castle actually, and he's started Janissary production of his own. So I don't think MbL's castle is going to be remaining on the map for too much longer. I was wondering whether RiuT would consider that he had enough knights left to just do Cavalier, because it's not a vastly expensive upgrade, but he isn't mining that much gold, and it would probably interrupt his Janissary production, which is potentially more important at the moment.
Yeah, I guess that will be his most important. Now we have its trap going up as well. MbL might be able to do quite a bit with Janissaries here, and I wonder if he can actually stand there out of range of the castle and maybe deal some damage, because I do not feel like RiuT can just run in with the knights, as the knights are quite heavily damaged. So maybe MbL is overestimating this fight a little bit, as in how hard it will be for him to actually deal the damage. So this castle is going to down really easily, as there's traps on both sides firing.
Yeah, I think MbL wouldn't wanted to have risked losing the Janissaries that he has on the map, because they are at the moment the only thing stopping RiuT from just marching over and laying siege to his own base. Those Janissaries are going to be really important to help him survive the next few minutes and transition into Imperial Age himself. So probably not keen to lose any of them potentially, because whilst he's shooting that treb, RiuT could potentially get a nice patrol with the knights and pick up some kills. And MbL actually with a third stable going down, he did pick up bloodlines and some knight upgrades, getting iron casting now as well. So let's see if he's doing knights at this point. Yeah, he's continuing to create knights, so may see him opt for Cavalier, especially as he lost his Janissary production when that castle went down.
Yeah, I guess it's a good call for MbL to swap here, because as you mentioned, with no further castles, not really having a lot of stone right now, it's just going to take him way too long to actually get his production up and going and start to fight back. So better start investing in something in which he is able to produce enough of to actually take a fight, instead of slowly pushing back, and in the meanwhile he might even lose the other castles. So I guess this is simply his best bet from here on. Even though even this production seems to go down rather quickly.
Yeah, you can see those Janissaries for MbL actually staying alive nicely on that hill, picking up a good number of kills and just keeping him alive whilst he ups to the Imperial Age. But you know, RiuT's starting to get enough Janissaries of his own and a patrol with the knights, and I think he could just clean all of those up, which is going to mean that MbL is going to be relying on that knight production, which he started doing just early enough to have a chance of pushing RiuT back. Doing
yeah, but still it's looking pretty bad for MbL in this position, to be honest, as I think RiuT will have quite an easy time pushing. It's getting some hussars out as well right now, so as soon as there will be a gap in his map, there will probably be a lot of raiding involved.
Yeah, heavy camel coming in for MbL along with +4 armor. It's interesting because I don't really see any camels particularly on the map for MbL. I mean, I'm surprised he opted for that before Cavalier, considering he has a lot of knights, but seemingly not really very many camels, or if any, at this moment. Those hussars are now getting into MbL's base and raiding, but not masses of them so far.
It seems like he cancelled the heavy camel upgrade, all the stable got destroyed, because I cannot really find it back, and isn't really producing any camels either, so I guess he's just going to stick with Cavalier, not heavy camels.
MbL running forward, trying to take that engagement, but he's sitting. Oh yeah, that Cavalier's coming in. My spectator overlay dashboard never even showed it, so he did do Cavalier. But moving in, being hit by camels when he was kind of running and not fighting, and then the fire from uphill from Janissaries and the castle is really poor engagement for him in terms of HP, and losing half a dozen Cavaliers as well.
Pity. He had the opportunity to snipe the traps down, but he just didn't notice them in time. It was in line of sight for a few seconds. But pity.
MbL does have the villager lead for now, 10 villagers ahead, but he's actually remassing a decent number of cavaliers, which can keep him in the fight. But the problem is it's just so easy for RiuT to switch into heavy camel, and then obviously cavaliers against Janissaries plus heavy camel are just going to melt. And it's really looking like even if MbL is still in this game and kind of he's still able to sustain a lot of production and have a decent economy, his composition is just going to be absolutely annihilated by RiuT. Picking up some trebs for now, but he's just losing all his army. And
one of the other problems with MbL is that he's only taking the gold in the south of his land right now, as both of his forward goals are just getting denied by RiuT's push. So yeah, there we have it.
Yeah, GG. MbL just cannot fight back against that composition from RiuT, and that makes 3-1 for RiuT, a winning start for him after he's only just playing his first game in Group C. So both players who you would fancy perhaps to go through within this group, RiuT and Slam, kicking off with 3-1 victories against MbL. So it'd be interesting to see the fight between those two players, because for now they've got similar results, and if one is able to kind of leapfrog the other one. Do of course also have Tim and Mentalist and Happy competing for this group at this point. But yeah, winning start for RiuT as would probably the expected result. We said it would be interesting to see if MbL could step up and prove his mettle against RiuT, and he did really well in game one. I think outfoxed RiuT actually, or perhaps RiuT was slightly complacent whilst going up to the Castle Age in that game. But quite comprehensive victories in most of the games since from RiuT, you would have to say, and he's looking really strong here. Even though there were suggestions that maybe he hadn't played that much coming into the tournament, you have to suspect that, you know, a tournament of this importance, he probably would have been taking it very seriously, especially as he has the ability to go so far in it. But yeah, let's have a quick look at the achievements before we back out. See, village is more or less the same, but resources slightly in favour of MbL overall. But the main thing is the kills to deaths. You can see 40 more kills for RiuT, more or less, and the composition in the late game meant that he was just going to be able to slay everything that MbL was producing. And as you quite rightly say, Wiki, very little access to gold for MbL, and in a Turk war we all know what that means.
Yeah, indeed, it was pretty huge. And this is where you can really see the map play a big role. I'm not sure if MbL otherwise was able to fight it back, but it always makes a difference. And I have to say I really enjoyed those matches, and just really loved the play of RiuT as well.